Hello, my name is Rebecca Royan, and I am pleased to be presenting my ideas on a brand repositioning strategy for Kodak. As a creative, I chose to focus on Kodak because of their roots in bringing photography, a once elite hobby, into the hands of the everyday American. If you know nothing about Kodak except for what's on their current website and the bizarre reason they made headlines in 2020, you would be missing out on a rich history of business and branding success. A side-by-side comparison of Kodak then and now reveals that despite a major shift in their market share and target audience, a lot about the company's core values has remained the same since the late 1800s. Kodak has always been an innovator. They started out in the camera, film, and photo processing market for consumers. More recently, their business is focused largely on B2B, providing high-tech print solutions to businesses and film to the motion picture trade. Once an industry leader, they have proved their worthiness through infrastructure and expertise. Their current focus on sustainability shows that they have kept up with the current trends. Kodak is also making inroads in AI and drone technology and even manufactures high-tech fabrics and home security systems. The one major difference between Kodak then and now, however, is their brand recognition. Their big idea of the Kodak moment brought their brand into the everyday vernacular throughout most of the 20th century, making Kodak synonymous with making, documenting, and sharing memories. As this timeline shows, Kodak retained an enormous market share in both the camera and film categories for nearly a century, boasting 85% and 90% market share respectively. Their decline predictably began with the advent of the digital camera and the phasing out of film and photo processing in the early 2000s. The irony here is that in 1975, an employee at Kodak invented the first prototype of the digital camera, but it was largely ignored by leadership. They had built their business model on the profitability of film and banked on the fact that people would want hard copies of photos forever. They failed to go all in on the digital trend, and this resulted in their global market share decreasing to a measly 7% in 2010. 2 years later, Kodak filed for bankruptcy protection. Though they emerged in 2013, it was a much smaller company, having sold off a good portion of their assets to stay afloat. In recent years, Kodak has attempted a variety of rebranding and repositioning initiatives, including a proprietary smartphone, a brand photographer matching app along the lines of Uber, licensing deals, and collaborations with designers for cell phone accessories. They have worked hard to grow their social presence on both Instagram and YouTube. Despite these efforts, Kodak does not appear to have truly reestablished themselves as a mass consumer brand. This has recently been further complicated by the company's seemingly out of nowhere foray into pharmaceuticals amid the COVID pandemic in 2020, supported largely by a $765 million loan from the federal government. To date, those plans have been put on ice. The key to how Kodak repositions itself hinges largely on properly identifying their target audience. If the brand is going to experience a consumer resurgence, it needs to be with an audience who doesn't have preconceived notions of who Kodak is or once was. To this point, we are targeting 25 to 35-year-olds, a subgroup of millennials we'll call Generation S. This generation values services and sharing. They were raised talking on and to devices, accessing apps for food delivery and directions, and posting pictures, videos, and music. Our target audience comprises tastemakers, trendsetters, and explorers. They boast a moderate disposable income and do their shopping mostly online. They are intentional in their aesthetic choices, both in fashion and home decor. They are tech savvy and culturally aware. To appeal to this audience, Kodak will develop a new brand identity, both internally and externally. This brand identity prism illustrates a shift in the company's current brand from B2B focused industry stalwarts to creative, consumer focused tech and cultural innovators. Perhaps most notable is a logo rework. We've maintained the iconic company colors, but trimmed down the mark to a sleek, stylized K that appeals to a modern audience and is easily adaptable to myriad applications. Kodak will re-embrace the moment by putting an emphasis on making and sharing experiences, on being plugged into trends and culture, and on innovating to stay up on the issues their target audience cares about, such as inclusivity and sustainability. The brand management plan that Kodak will employ is three-pronged, focusing on the arts, tech, and fashion. The first strategy, focusing on the arts, hinges on developing partnerships with lifestyle bloggers, makers, and artists. Kodak will leverage its innovative print technology to produce small-run, high-quality prints for home decor, which can be purchased through the Kodak or a partner website. The home decor market has experienced exponential growth since 2015 and, in 2018, was valued at over $660 billion. There is increasing demand for eco-friendly products and for items available to be purchased online. The result of these partnerships is twofold: making high-quality prints accessible to the consumer while promoting small businesses and independent artists. The second strategy focuses on tech, an area that Kodak is well versed in. The idea here is to develop a branded mobile app that leverages Kodak's innovation into AI to deliver multi-purpose features. Filters, in-camera photo tips, and location-based photo op mapping are just a few options that Kodak could pursue. Travelers could open the app to discover the best photo op spots in various locales and would immediately share their flicks with people nearby. The app would be used on phones and integrate seamlessly with DSLR cameras and smartwatches. This kind of cross-platform app use follows current trends in mobile, such as IoT and wearables. The tech strategy is key in allowing Kodak to reclaim their moment by making photo creation and sharing services accessible to everyone, everywhere, across technologies. The third and final strategy focuses on fashion, an industry Kodak has already made inroads in. Their current collaborations target mostly street style with nostalgic vintage vibes. Our strategy would build on this success, but additionally develop partnerships with fashion designers and influencers, such as those featured on Amazon's The Drop. This site allows consumers to discover the latest styles by global brands, which are available to purchase for a limited time. This kind of marketing creates increased demand based on its exclusivity. Partnering with this hyper-relevant fashion site will allow Kodak to enter into a new era of licensing, featuring its revamped logo on signature items with the goal of upping brand recognition and association. Kodak is a brand with a storied history and a bright future. With a bit of updating to their brand's look and management strategies, they could once again achieve success in the mass consumer market while maintaining their strong ties to industry and their even stronger ties to innovation. Thank you for your time and consideration today.